Okay, right, so we're going to talk about arrest procedures now. So, by the end of this session, if you just have a quick look at the outcomes, have a quick read of those. Okay, yeah, turn it on. Also. Okay, so, by the end of this session, you'll be able to specify why arrests are a last resort and the limitations of the door supervisor's powers of arrest. Define an indictable offence. Now we've already done that, but I'll go over it again. Identify when a door supervisor may arrest. State the agreed arrest procedures, but then explain the procedures to be taken following an arrest. Okay, let's look at the term, the definition of an arrest now, because people tend to ask me, what if I arrest someone and they really don't want to come with me? Yeah. So what is an arrest? Who can tell me? What is it? What is an arrest?
Arrest is to take somebody's power, and if somebody is on arrest, that means he's not in. His power has been taken away from them.
An arrest is when you could be arrested when you refuse.
Okay. Anything else? An arrest. What does it mean to arrest? So if I say to you, if you come out, Morris, for a minute, I'm calling you Morris, come out here, sir.
Can be Morris.
You're Morris today, alright? Mourinho.
Can be Mourinho.
Mourinho, okay, alright. You're a funny man. Just for the benefit of today, we'll call him Morris, yeah?
Right.
Alright, for the benefit of Morris. Now Morris, I'm arresting you, yeah, for theft. Okay, so I'm arresting him. We'll go through the procedures later on. So if I say to Morris, I'm arresting you, what am I actually doing? Morris, you want to go home, don't you?
Yeah.
You want to go home,
Can I?
but I'm actually arresting him. So what am I doing?
You are arrested him.
What does it mean for him?
You're
Taking
taking his
away
liberty
his-
away.
He's taking his freedom away.
Taking away his liberty, his freedom. That means even the fact that I'm holding him like this, he'll want to go, but I'm not letting him go. So, he's going to want to restrain, so obviously, I'll go like this, yeah? The various things. I'm restricting him, his liberty. He's now no longer free to go. He's under arrest. Okay? Alright, take a seat. So that's what an arrest is. It's taking someone's, let's have a look at, it's taking the taking or the restraint of a person from his liberty in order that he shall be forthcoming to answer an alleged crime or offence.
What happens when you refuse an arrest?
If he refuses, then we'll have to use force to.
What sort of force is that?
Again, we go back to what we did in the last segment. We use reasonable force, but we'll come back to that later on. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what an arrest is. So the powers of arrest. Let's look at the powers of arrest. Do you think that as a door supervisor or as a security guard, you should have the same powers of arrest as the police?
Of course not.
A little bit more than the police. But we should have just a little bit less, or the same as just an ordinary public, the public.
Just
If
an
you
auto.
are on walking, you have arrest to power to arrest.
You don't really have a power to arrest, but you have the power
Maybe just hold the guy or something.
to actually
Wait for
it depends. I mean, stopping the person from still committing the same act.
Okay, so you're doing a job. Do you think you should be given a bit more power though?
I think security guard or door security should be given more
They
power.
should be given more. Morris?
I think we don't have too much power.
I think if you are on duty and as security, you have almost have same power as police when you are working on crime committed. You should, yeah, I think so.
How about you, Mr. Lee? What do you think? Okay. Well, I'll just say this. But door supervisors, we don't have extra powers of arrest. We have the same as the public. But see, many of the public don't know what those powers are. So, we don't have extra powers. And really, arrest should be treated as a last resort. In other words, when there's no other option available to us, then we make an arrest. We arrest for serious offences. When a serious offence has been committed, will arrest someone.
But
Okay?
we have the power to arrest someone.
Yes, we do.
Oh,
And I'll discuss the powers of arrest
yes.
later on. The police have got a warrant, haven't they? Police officers, they carry their warrant card on them all the time.
So,
They've got special powers of arrest. Well, we have the same powers of ordinary citizens. We don't need to have a warrant, but the law does give you the power to arrest. And we're going to talk about that now. So, arrest should be treated as a last resort. Why do you think that should be? Why do you think we should treat arrest as a last resort?
because you can deal with it without. You can talk,
That's
to,
when
the,
they-
talk to the person, like converse. You can liaise with the person before arresting.
You can liaise with them, okay, but why should it be a last resort?
When
He
this
resists.
When he resists,
when this situation get intense, you know.
when the situation gets intense, that's good. Okay, well we'll say this. There's a number of reasons why we have an arrest as a last resort. And one of the reasons we say is that you need to be 100% sure that an offence has been committed, first and foremost. Because the last thing we want is allegations brought against you or case brought against you for wrongful arrest and false imprisonment. And this is where we talk about, not just retail security, and that's why I know Maurice said I want the retail security, because in shoplifting, we need to be 100% sure that someone has committed an offence before we can actually arrest them. Alright? That they've actually taken something. So we only arrest when we are 100% sure that an offence has been committed. For example, if you've witnessed an offence, then you're 100% sure. Well, someone came with some injuries on them that was inflicted by someone, that you can actually detain that person. Yeah? Okay? Someone, for example, drugs. They're in possession of a large amount of drugs. But obviously, there's a possibility of them actually supplying drugs. It's a serious offence, so you can arrest that person. So when there's a serious offence, then you can make an arrest. So, now, going to what we spoke about earlier on about indictable offence. An indictable offence is a serious offence. That's these offences we want to make arrest. That's the offence you'll arrest for. We said an indictable offence is what?
A crime against the state.
It's a series of, yes it is, but it's an offence that can be tried at Crown Court.
Yeah.
So the key element here is Crown Court. We used to have what is known as arrestable offences under the old Police and Criminal Evidence Act 1984. That's now been superseded by the Serious Organised Crime and Police Act.
By the IRA.
Yeah, 2005. And we call these indictable offences. Okay? So you have a power of arrest for indictable offences. Look at your friend next to you. You've got a power of arrest for indictable offences. Look at him. So he is aware of that. You have the power of arrest for an indictable offence. Alright? So, let's look at some offences. Breach of the peace, that's an indictable offence. How many of you have heard the term breach of the peace? You have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what it is?
Yeah, like disturbance, you know.
Yeah, disturbance. Exactly.
Right, and yeah, just disturbing the peace of neighbors or whatever,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay. Breach of the peace is considered being any disruption, any disorder or disruption to the peace in public or private that results in violence, the threat of violence, or provokes violence from another. It's breach of the peace. Now that is indictable under common law. Do you remember we did common law and statute law?
Yeah.
So we know that there's been test cases for the breach of the peace.
Yeah.
It's indictable. But as a door supervisor, or even security, the way you'll deal with breach of the peace is by way of ejection. You ask the person to leave nicely. If they refuse to leave, then you have to remove them. Ejection. Throw them out. Okay? Alright. So that's the way we deal with breach of the peace. Now, let's go back. How many of you were taught in school about citizen's arrest?
Citizen arrest.
Yeah. Were you taught about that?
Yeah.
You were taught about citizen's arrest in
Yeah,
school? Okay. Alright. How many of you have heard the term citizen's arrest before? Citizen's arrest. Many people have heard the term
Yes,
citizen's
yeah, I think
arrest,
so, yeah,
but they're not
yeah.
fully sure about what citizen's arrest
Yes,
is. You've heard it. I heard it in school, but I wasn't fully sure about what a citizen's arrest is. This is what the law says under the Serious Organised Crime and Police Act 2005